Is it true, guys, that people never quit RuneScape? Nobody really ever quits, and then this video popped up on my feed right after. Why no one ever really quits RuneScape? Dude, the RuneScape login screen hit music hits, bro.
In the community, you've probably heard the phrase before. Nobody quits RuneScape. It's become one of the oldest jokes in the game. Someone says they're quitting, they sell their bank, give away all their items, delete RuneLite, and all the while, their friends and clanmates drop a "see you tomorrow."
Guys, never, if you ever quit RuneScape, don't give away your bank. I did this when I was a kid, and I swear my bank would be worth a crazy amount of money nowadays. I mean, it's RuneScape 3 gold, but I wish I never did drop parties when I was a kid and I just kept my stuff.
And then, inevitably, 6 months later, they're back grinding Slayer like nothing ever happened. Obviously, people do quit. Some never come back. But enough people do that the saying has survived for over 2 decades. And that raises an interesting question. Why RuneScape? Why doesn't anyone say, nobody quits World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, Final Fantasy XIV, or almost any other MMO?
Damn, because people quit WoW every single month after they get the gear, bro. They literally, like, everybody quits WoW. It's not nobody quits WoW. It's everybody quits at some point. But people always come back to WoW too, but I don't know why that's not a saying in World of Warcraft. I never thought about that. Why they say that in RuneScape, but they don't say that for any other game. That is true.
MMO for that matter. What is it about old school RuneScape that keeps people returning year after year? Everybody's experience is different, and I'm sure everyone has their own reasons for returning. But I think I have a few theories on why this is the case. But before we start, I'll quickly say, old school RuneScape has built a culture that very few games have ever been able to replicate. One of the biggest reasons people return to old school RuneScape is surprisingly simple. Your progress never disappears. Think about someone who stopped playing 5 years ago. They log in, they still have their quest points, their achievement diaries, their fire or maybe infernal cape, pets, collection logs, 99.
Not Triumphant. Triumphant just has the one on the left there.
Their crazy player-owned house that they've spent millions of GP and several hours of training just to achieve. It's all still there, and most of all, it's all still relevant. Sure, maybe there's new content. There may be stronger weapons. Maybe there's a new raid that has been released. But the game almost never tells you that everything you've spent hundreds of hours earning is now worthless. Compare that to many modern MMOs. A new expansion releases, the level cap increases. The best gear in the game that was acquired by the hardest content suddenly becomes vendor trash. And because of that, months of progression disappears overnight. However, old school RuneScape has never worked that way. Instead of replacing progression, RuneScape stacks it.
Yeah, guys, when Shobek realizes that all that grinding that he's doing on all those different games is all useless, he's going to realize one day, you know what? I still never got my fire cape, but I'm right there at the point where I can go get it. You know what I mean? He's going to realize that he didn't lose any of that time. He still has, well, he doesn't have his quest cape anymore, but he's going to realize that he still has all of his stats and all of his Slayer and all of those hours that he put in. He's going to realize that he can come back and pick up right where he left off at any point in time. After he beats Final Fantasy, after he beats Classic WoW 3-4 times and realizes there's a forever home right back here whenever you want to come back.
When I think of horizontal progression, I think of OSRS. Old school RuneScape is the king of horizontal progression. The Dragon Scimitar has been a staple of melee training for 2 decades.
I forgot he said Grandmaster in a year. He said GM in a year, boys.
And remains one of the first major upgrades that every account looked forward to. Ours was released over 20 years ago.
Wait.
Yet players still run it.
To be fair, you could get Grandmaster in 1 year played. 1 year played is actually a realistic goal.
useful armor in the early to mid game, and it's still a decent mid game moneymaker. The Abyssal Whip has been iconic since 2005, and still is one of the best melee weapons you'll use until you get into expensive endgame gear.
Right.
Fighter
I
Torso,
did Coliseum with that.
Barrow's Gloves,
Bro,
still
Fighter
best in slot
Torso,
for
I
almost
just
every
got rid of
account
those.
until very late game.
Dude, 160 days played to get rid of these two items, guys. 160 days played to get rid of Fighter Torso and Barrow Gloves.
The Fire Cape, also released back in 2005, is still the melee cape that nearly every player earns before building the skills to start taking on the Inferno. Even bosses from years ago, like God War's Dungeon, Zulrah, and Chambers of Zarek, all continue to have a place in the game because their rewards were never made irrelevant. Instead of replacing old content, Jagex usually builds around it. New updates gives players more options rather than deleting value of everything that came before it. That's why you can come back to the game after years away, log into the same account, and most of your progress is still just as meaningful as the day you left. Your Fire Cape isn't invalidated by the Infernal Cape, it's simply the step before it. Dragon Defender becomes the Avernic Defender. Progression in RuneScape feels less like a treadmill that has you running in place, not gaining any ground for a period of time, and more like building a tower. Every accomplishment becomes another pillar that supports everything built after it.
Dang.
Nothing asks you to tear that tower down, only to continue building. And psychologically, that's incredibly powerful, because taking a break doesn't mean starting over. It just means continuing where you left off. Open someone's bank, not because of the GP value, but because every account is a timeline. That Fire Cape reminds them of finally beating Jad after a series of attempts.
Dang, look at that
random
bank.
holiday
27 Darox axes. Why do you need... What is this? This is Mainscape right here. Who has 140 sets? Is this a PKer? Is this Skill Specs bank? I've never seen a bank like this. Holy crap.
item reminds them of logging in with friends and family over Christmas. That first pet reminds them of a time they got really lucky, or during a grind they thought would never end. Maybe there's a dragon chain body they refuse to sell because they dreamt of owning one back in 2006 when it was the pinnacle of elite status.
Oh, the
RuneScape accounts
Elysian.
become scrapbooks, not because the items are valuable, but because the memories attached to them are. Every account tells a story that only the owner truly understands. RuneScape has changed enormously over the last 25 years, but somehow, and especially with old school, it still feels familiar. Lumbridge is still Lumbridge. Varrock is still Varrock.
Yeah.
And Falador is still Falador. The music is recognizable, and the art style still has the same charm. The world hasn't been replaced, it's been expanded. That means every time you log
this
in,
is actually...
you're walking...
This is actually a big point, because once World of Warcraft once they left Azeroth, it did not feel the same. For me, TBC does not feel the same. Like the moment we left Azeroth, it was bad. And then they added flying mounts, and that was bad. And it killed the world. And I just I hope that we never leave Azeroth in Classic Plus. The world being the same, like, you guys don't understand. RuneScape reuses the starting area. Like, if you go underneath the castle, there's the Dorgashan Caves, which leads to Dorgashan, which is like where you trade in your bones, and like you have quests that you do there. It's where you buy, it's where you buy the bone weapons. Like, they do a great job at using every area in the game. And then there's high level bosses like Cerberus is near Falador in the Taverley dungeon. You have high level PVM in early game spots, and it makes they reuse the world. They spread out where the bosses are very well. They're not all in the high level zone. Like, you don't just never go back to Elwyn Forest ever again, right? And I think that that's sad. Like, World of Warcraft could definitely learn from RuneScape on reusing the starter zones. Even though there's level 3 mobs there, it doesn't mean that there can't be in-game content there as well. And so higher level content in the starting zones is a good thing. It brings you back to Elwyn. It brings you back to Lumbridge.
Through memories of some of the best feelings a game has to offer. And for many players,
yeah, putting Brutus
RuneScape is not just
in
nostalgic
Lumbridge, great
because
idea.
they played it as a child. It's nostalgic because the world itself remembers them. The game has one of the strongest communities in all of gaming. And even if it wasn't intentional, I think it was far from an accident. We see the biggest example of this on YouTube. Let me explain. Most games give players objectives. Go here, do this quest, go there, kill these monsters, maybe collect some items, gain a level or two, before moving on to a new zone and doing it all again. RuneScape gives players freedom from the moment they get off Tutorial Island. They aren't given a waypoint or some arrow pointing them in a certain direction. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Little to no direction at all, no guidelines. The players are given a plethora of in-game content they can choose to interact with and mold into any journey they'd like. Nobody told the players to create Pures, level 3 skillers, or even the original Iron Man accounts. No one told players to create a one-chunk account, or accounts in series like Tileman, Swampletics, or even region-locked accounts. Players invented those. RuneScape doesn't just create content. It fills a sandbox with tools for players to create their own content. That's why YouTube has become such a huge part of RuneScape's identity.
Exactly.
Being
Dude,
a sandbox game.
this is a great video, by the way. He's actually nailing all the points here. The fact that every person's journey is so different. Like in WoW, you could, it's pretty linear. You know, it's called a theme park MMO, not a sandbox. RuneScape's more of a sandbox because you can do so many different things. Like you don't even have to kill anything in RuneScape. You could just skill. You can't do that in WoW. And so the fact that like everybody can play the game just so differently and like nobody's playthrough is even anywhere remotely the same is why RuneScape is so great. It gives you that like uniqueness of choice in the world and what you want to go do. And you don't have to feel like bad about like not wanting to go kill things that day if you want to just go skill, because that also helps your account. Like higher agility helps your account, higher rune crafting, it all helps your account. Like if you want to just go flip items on the GE one day, like having more gold helps your account. Like it doesn't really matter what you do because everything that you do helps your account. Except for playing like Jimmy, because he kind of just sails around and talks to people on boats on the RP server. But like everybody except for Jimmy is making progress on their account. You know what I mean? And like that's all that matters.
Lends itself to community and player discovery, which in turn produces guides and other videos showcasing everything that the players have accomplished for the world to see. We even watch live streams and progress videos just because everyone's journey is unique from one another. And no two accounts repeat the same journey as another.
No, he just said it.
Every account becomes a story worth telling. Every challenge becomes another series. The game doesn't need to script your adventure. The players do it themselves. Few games have a community that remembers its own history the way that RuneScape does. The launch of RuneScape 2, the Falador Massacre, the removal of free trade in the wilderness, the return of old school RuneScape itself. These aren't just updates, they're moments. Every player remembers where they were, what they thought, how the community reacted. Even players who weren't around have probably heard the stories. Every player has most likely heard the name Zezima, probably spoken as if he were a mythical creature that would occasionally come out of hiding just to strike awe into all that would encounter him. RuneScape.
The fact that Zezima like never did any publicity or like came back or was a streamer or was accessible in any way actually added to his mysticism and legend. Like the fact that he's kind of just like this untouchable, unreachable person who used to like be the #1 RuneScape, account. It all added to everything that he is. It's so cool how that works, and a community will idolize and like legend, like make somebody into a legend. But I feel like it would have tarnished his reputation a bit if he was reachable or accessible, like in a stream or something.
Has built its own mythology. It's one of the few games.
He was nice to everybody too. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he was pretty nice too.
Another thing that keeps people coming back is the fact that RuneScape never really ends. You can play for thousands of hours and still not max your account.
I'm never maxing.
And even if you did, you're still far from running out of content.
Yeah.
You can chase pets. That alone will earn you billions of GP and thousands of additional hours of gameplay. And even then, if you manage to collect them all, there are still combat achievements that slowly build your skills to an elite level just to have a chance at becoming a Grandmaster. Not to mention the collection log, an achievement that still has not even been completed by the most dedicated of players. Chasing items like Third Age, Helmet of the Moon, and other extremely rare items that make pet drops seem like child's play. Or maybe you prefer skilling.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I was actually like AFKing my main, or AFKing my Iron Man, and then playing my main, and then like questing my main, and then AFKing my Iron Man, I was like, you know, maybe in a few years I will max. I actually had that thought. So maybe I am wrong about it. But like, if I can AFK to max, bro, or just do it for like an hour a day or something, I mean, over a really long period of time, there is a chance. There is a chance.
Skill goes to 200 million experience for those that like to pursue ranks and efficient long-term grinds.
I don't know what I'm going to do about agility, though.
Dedication to the craft. And for those that do not understand how monumental of a task that is, it takes 13 million experience to reach 99 in a skill. And depending on the 99, that alone can take hundreds of hours to achieve. And for the more casual focus, there's always role-playing, helping your clan, hanging out with friends, and participating in running community events, and even teaching new players how to become better at the game. No matter what your playstyle may be, there really is something for everyone. Instead of the game telling you what your next goal should be, it simply gives you enough systems that you'll eventually create one yourself. And that's a very important difference. You're not chasing someone else's finish line. You're chasing your own.
Yeah.
So, why does no one really quit RuneScape? I think it's a combination of everything we previously covered, but not because the game is perfect. Although, in my humble opinion, despite any of its faults or gripes that people may have with the game, I think it is the closest to perfection that any MMO has yet to get.
Damn, this guy's
it's also
based,
not the
bro.
most modern MMO. Although, in my humble opinion,
Beyond
the game feels
biz.
more modernized than a lot of flashy new MMOs that only last a fraction of the time
This
that
guy's got
RuneScape
148
has.
subscribers.
And I
What a
think
good
it's because of
video.
The embrace of player discovery and emergent gameplay, the addition of multiple game modes, community events such as Deadman modes, leagues, and probably most of all, how connected Jagex has become with the community over the years. It's no longer a far cry to reach out to a JMod and actually get a response.
Dude, another reason why Jagex is goated.
From them. Everyone has their reasons for returning. Maybe the newest league drew you back in. Maybe a video appeared in your feed that planted a seed that flourished into the idea of you checking out what new content the game has to offer. Or watch a series created by some of the best content creators RuneScape has to offer.
Dude, I didn't even think about the content creators being a part of the OSRS experience too, but like WoW has some good streamers, but not a lot of good YouTubers, and Mad Season just quit WoW. So WoW just lost him. You know what I mean? He was one of the only ones. There really aren't very many YouTubers over there. There's maybe Willie and Mad Season. So, but at RuneScape, dude, there's hundreds of content creators making YouTube videos and cool series and all that, and giving like inspiration to people on what they could do or what they could try. You know, how many people has Foe inspired to try TCG man mode? Thousands, bro. Thousands of people are playing that mode. And probably because of Foe, which is really incredible. It all adds to the experience. There's just like so much. There's like so much that makes RuneScape what it is today. And this guy is really, he's pointing out everything. And and he's got 148 subscribers beyond Biz. No wonder he is beyond Biz. We gotta give this guy some subs, guys.
Made you want to try one of the unique restrictions or the new game modes yourself. Or maybe you are simply looking for a game just to pass the time.
No, I don't have a subscription to that game.
You inevitably wade through the sea of MMOs without finding one that really encapsulates you. You land back on RuneScape. Because like I've already stated, your accomplishments still matter. Your memories still exist. The community is still here. Your world is still waiting. And every time you return, It doesn't feel like starting over. It feels like you're returning to a place of comfort. And that's why this saying has survived for more than 20 years. People don't quit RuneScape. They always find a reason to log back in.
Let's go.
They always find a reason to come home.
That video was very good, and I agree with all of those reasons, and that's why I'm still playing RuneScape. So W video from Beyond Biz. And I'm really happy to hear that maybe one day Showbag, Joker, Guzu, Savix, they all might come back and play the game. I'm a little bit more skeptical about Soda Poppin' though. I don't know if he'll ever come back. But everybody else, you know, maybe there's a chance. So how about that?